Time for sports now, and Lee, some surprising news today.
Steve Spott is leaving the Kitchener Rangers, and Rosie, there were a couple of reasons why we maybe didn't think this was coming just yet. For instance, Steve Spott had 5 years remaining on his contract with the Rangers, but he says he felt he was ready to make the move to the next level. This afternoon, Spott was announced as the next head coach of the Toronto Marlies, but as he prepares to return to his hometown, Spott paused to reflect on 12 years with the Rangers organization.
Let's get the first goal here.
It's a tough day. Excited about my new opportunity in Toronto. Growing up in Toronto, a Leaf fan, to have an opportunity to work within the organization is exciting. But to leave this community, the fans, the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis is tough, because it truly has become home for myself and my family. A couple of great moments. Ben Finelli coming out on the ice after his return to play is something that will always be special in my heart. When you look at the team achievements, winning in Game 7 here against Belleville in 08 is something that was spectacular, and then in Quebec in 2003. And having your name now on the Memorial Cup is something that is very special, and you know, for my children and eventually my grandchildren to see that is something that I completely owe to the Kitchener Rangers organization.
Pete and I have been through a lot of wars the last 7 years, and what an end to the story right now.
I think there's a great framework in place now for players to come and play in this tremendous city in front of these tremendous fans. So I'm excited about what we've done.
Let's make sure we're sharp here tonight. Our building, we set the tempo, all right?
Of course, we like to have won more championships. I like to have won one personally for myself, but I'm proud of the work that we've done here. I'll always consider this home, and I've said before, forever a Ranger, and that's how I feel today.
Meanwhile, the resignation came as a shock to the players of the Kitchener Rangers, some admitting they learned the news on Twitter. Kitchener native Derek Schoenmakers played under Spott this season, but remembers when he came to town with Peter DeBoer 12 years ago. And now both those coaches have moved on to the professional ranks, which Schoenmakers says reflects how much Spott has grown.
He knows his stuff, X's and O's wise, one of the best you can imagine in this league, really. I mean, he's a tremendous coach, great with the players and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's really probably going to do really well up there in Toronto.
Meanwhile, Matt Pumple is at the Ottawa Senators development camp and says he looks forward to the idea of facing his former coach on the professional stage.
He helped me out a lot with, kind of translating my game to the best I can to a pro standpoint, and just kind of hold you accountable to things you wouldn't get away at the next level that you might get away in the OHL, but he made sure you didn't. So just a lot of little things, and some pretty big things. He was a great coach.
Returning players, meanwhile, now await the appointment of a new head coach and general manager. Rangers COO Steve Benkowski says he prefers to have one person working both jobs, though he's reconsidering that opinion. Either way, he expects the process will be complete by the end of this month.
I don't think it's a panic to move along here. We're in good shape. Everything's planned. Our players are signed, or the majority of them are. And I honestly believe we're probably leaning towards two people separating the roles. And it's just because, again, over a 12-year period, things change, and only one person can be stretched so far.
Spott's resignation comes on the heel of Paul Fixter also leaving the organization last month. The Kitchener native initially took an assistant coach and associate GM role with the Sudbury Wolves, but tonight was promoted to head coach when Trent Cull stepped down, also for a position with the AHL. In a statement released by the Wolves, Fixter says it's amazing how quickly things can change in the game of hockey. Now that Trent Cull has moved up to the pro level, I am extremely excited to take on the responsibility of leading the Wolves behind the bench this season. And one of Spott's last duties as Rangers general manager was the CHL import draft. Rangers selected Russian Dmitry Sergeyev with the 23rd overall pick. He's a 17-year-old defenseman. Meanwhile, the Guelph Storm also bolstering their back end, selecting Phil Baltzitz-Berger from Switzerland, 26th overall. Still on the ice, the Elmira Sugar Canes making a big move, acquiring the rights to forward Adam Campagnolo from the Waterloo Siskins. Campagnolo spent the last 4 seasons with the Siskins and is coming off a career year. Last year, he scored 20 goals and picked up 47 assists. So breaking down the deal in exchange for the 20-year-old, the Siskins get forward Matt Schrick and future considerations. In the frozen world of the OUA, Waterloo's Justin Larson made quite an impression last season with an NHL team, as Larson has been invited to the Washington Capitals development camp. Larson led the country in scoring this past season with 17 goals and 45 points. His play was a big component to the Warriors' success when they made it to the CIS championship last winter. Larson says he was approached during the OUA playoffs by a Capitals scout, and he'll be invited to the main training camp this fall in what Larson is calling the opportunity of a lifetime.
It's amazing. I mean, it's a dream come true, and I never obviously expected it once I left junior hockey and came to the CIS and came to the University of Waterloo. This opportunity, you sort of gotta jump 2 feet in and see where it goes. Obviously, growing up, making it to the NHL is every hockey player's dream, and this brings me a step closer to that, and I'm fighting for a contract.
I think we were all a bit awestruck at what he did this year. Leading the country in scoring in his second year is incredible. He was a horse for us on offense. He played tons of minutes up front too, and whenever we needed a big goal, playoffs, regular season, he was the guy to get it done.
The final field is set for the Manulife Classic Golf Tournament. The second annual LPGA event starts in next week in Waterloo when 144 players will tee off at Grey Silo. The list includes Imby Park, who has won all 3 major championships on tour this year. In Major Series lacrosse tonight, it took overtime, but the Brooklyn Redmen pounded out the 13-10 win over the Kodiaks. KW off until Tuesday now, but tomorrow Six Nations will be in Brampton. IBL action from Brantford tonight. Kitchener Panthers' Matt McGovern with a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th, but he's facing a bases-loaded situation, and Josh McCurdy, finding a pitch he likes, drops it into shallow center field. 2 runs come in to score, and the throw is way off, so the runners will advance to second and third. A wild pitch is brought in the 3rd run of the inning. Then Tyler Bernal hits a slow roller up the line. The tag is made, but the ball isn't kept in play. As the Panthers will fall tonight, the Red Sox hold on for the 5-4 win. And Rosie will be back after the break with Wake Up Weather.